Welcome back to another episode in the Power of the BI. Welcome back to another episode in the Power of the BI. Today we're going to be talking about age-old questions when it comes to why should you get into Power BI, how did I get into Power BI, and what are the different advantages and things like that. But before we get into that, what I want to do is I want to remind you that I've just launched the Power of the BI podcast. I want you to go out there and download the Power of the BI podcast. Wherever you stream your podcast, download Power of the BI podcast. One other thing, we also have our free live Power BI webinars every Thursday. If you're interested in learning Power BI, if you're interested in why you should learn Power BI, I encourage you to go to learn.powerofthebi.com/webinar. Again, that's learn.powerofthebi.com/webinar and join us Thursday in our free Power BI webinar. So let's get right to it. Are you looking to get into Power BI? Do you think Power BI is good for you? Do you want to know if Power BI is good for you? Do you want to get into tech, but you don't know which tech skill that you want to try to learn? So here's the deal. Today, we are going to be going live 2.0, given that it's a virtual session and not an in-house session. We're going to be live. We're going to be taking questions. And at the end of the video here, we're going to be going live to the Zoom, and we're going to be having a lot more intimate, detailed, personal conversation with our community. If you are not in the live Zoom session, if you're not in the live Zoom session, you are more than welcome to participate in the next live 2.0 session, where it won't just be questions inside or comments inside of the Zoom session. You will actually be able to ask your questions live and have live interaction with myself, just as these guys will here in a short period of time. So here's the deal. If you are a member, if you are a student in Power of the BI in Power of the BI class, you could receive your notice to participate as you would inside the class portal. But if you are not a student, you do not have to be a student, and this session is totally free. You do not have to be a student, and this session is totally free. If you follow the link in the description below, I believe the link is going to my Power of the BI in a Day link. Not totally sure. Just follow the link below in the description below. And basically, you'll be signing up to join our email distribution list. In that email list, you will not be receiving 9-10 emails a day or even a week. We send emails maybe every 9 or 10 days. But what you will be getting from that is notification to be able to join our live session. The difference is initially what I'm going to be doing is going through some general questions that I've received from students and some general questions that I've also received in the comment sections of some of the videos. I'm going to be going through some of those questions here today, here in this video, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to shut down, and then we're going to go live seminar, webinar style with those that are participating in the Zoom session. That part will not be video because I want you to be able to ask some very personal questions if need be, if you understand. I don't want anyone to believe that your HR representatives may be able to see or hear the types of questions that you're asking. So with that said, I am going to move on into the questions that I have received, because what I want to do is keep this relatively short into no more than about 30 minutes so that we can move into the question and answers and really having more personal conversations with those that are sitting back online. So I'm going to be going through some of the most the most received questions that I receive via comments and via class, because I think those questions can answer give many students or many participants such as yourself answers about Power BI. So the first question I have here is, what is Power BI and how is it different from Excel? That is a great question. The reason why it's a great question is because Power BI and Excel both are Microsoft products. One thing I want to clarify off the rip, I am not a employee of Microsoft. I am not a contractor of Microsoft. I don't think. I don't think that I'm contracted. I don't think yeah. So I'm not getting paid to give this presentation by Microsoft. Now, will I, Mr. Microsoft? If you're out there listening, I will take your money, right? If you want me to talk, if you want to pay me to talk about Power BI, but I talk about Power BI anyway. So Power BI, the difference between the Power BI and Excel is many moons ago when I was in corporate, I would use Excel to create reports and presentations, and I would use the data to create bar charts and bar charts and column charts and line graphs, things like that, tables, using Excel. Now, all of those are visualization tools where you could see the report, you could see what's going on by the visualization. That visualization being a line chart, a column chart, a line graph, tables. Power BI is a data visualization tool. So at the end of the day, you can use Excel to create data visualizations, but Power BI is a data visualization tool, right? Excel is a very limited I'm not say watered down, but it's a very limited tool. I think it's good for small businesses and for educational purposes inside of academia. But Power BI is a dynamic tool that is great for small to medium, even small and medium-sized businesses, but definitely for global conglomerates, right? It can handle lots of data. The most data I've worked with inside of Excel has been maybe 1,000 rows. Power BI, I probably start out at 100,000 rows and probably working anywhere with 100 million rows, right? And it's probably even more than that. But what I like to tell the students in our class is data. So it doesn't matter if you've got 1,000 rows of data or if you got 100 million rows of data. Data is data. So that's one major difference is the capacity that you can work with inside of Power BI. Now, given that Power BI and Excel both are Microsoft products, I like to look at it like this. Excel is the beginner edition, but then there's another piece in the middle that is Excel on steroids. I'm not going to go into the other piece because I don't want to get you too thrown off so that you may feel like, this is way too much for me. But then there's a piece that's above that piece, and that piece is Power BI. And Power BI is that piece on steroids times 10, right? So the firepower that Power BI has compared to Excel, Power BI is nuclear. Power BI is nuclear. Excel is firecracker. Okay, I hope that gives you some idea of the level of capacity that Power BI brings to the table. I don't want to go too deep into that because I don't know if the question came from someone that was super technical or someone that was not very technical, and I don't want to scare you off. The next question was, do I need technical background to learn Power BI? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I first got into Power BI, I had no tech skills. I did not go to school, college, trade school, or anywhere to learn Power BI. Now, with that said, I'm now certified in Power BI. I'm certified in data engineering. I'm certified in artificial intelligence. Do you have to have all of that? No, you don't. What I'm saying is that you don't have to be, you just have to want to learn the skill. You have to want to learn the skill, and then you've got to go out there and you've got to eat it. You've got to eat Power BI. You just got to eat it, especially if you're not technical already, or if you didn't go to school for computer science and you're competing against these guys that did go for school for computer science. You've got to be 100 times better. And there is room out there for you to be 100 times better. Trust. but you've got to want it. You've got to want it, right? But you don't have to go to school. Or you don't have to have a background, a technical background. How long does it take to become proficient in Power BI? That's a good follow-up question to the previous question. How long does it take to become proficient in Power BI? As long as it takes, okay? As long as it takes. So I'll just give you my my story. When I got into Power BI and I decided, hey, this is going to be the skill that's going to take me to the next level professionally, financially, just personally, you know what I'm saying? When I decided to go deep into Power BI, when I decided to make Power BI my profession, I went out to YouTube and I learned everything I could. I found all the gurus that are out on YouTube. I made a library of YouTube videos of each one of the individual gurus that were out there that was talking Power BI, talking about different different visualizations that they could create and different mechanisms that they would use in order to create powerful and dynamic Power BI reports. I just created libraries and I would create a report and then I would practice the report and then I would find what they did and I would make the changes to my report to mimic their report so that I could learn how to do what they did. And I just had maybe 10, 15 different gurus that I would follow. I'm not saying that you've got to be as entrenched into it as I was. I'm just saying that if you want to be good, you've got to practice it, right? And you've got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. You can become very good at creating column charts. You can become very good at creating bar charts. You can become very good at creating tree maps. But there's a lot more to Power BI than just the visualizations themselves. I'm not going to go super deep, but I'm just letting you know, if you want to be good, if you want to be quote unquote proficient, you've got to go to work. And when I say go to work, I'm not talking about 8 to 5. I'm talking about you work from 8 to 5 and then you eating Power BI from 5 to midnight, learning more, getting better, learning more, getting better. I know that sounds kind of geeky, sounds kind of nerdy, but I'll leave that where it is. What are the main components of Power BI? So there are several different components of Power BI. There are a lot of main components. Well, there are several different main components of Power BI, but there are two main components. There's Power BI Desktop and there's Power BI Service. Power BI Desktop is where you go over, just say you go to Google, you say, I want to download Power BI Desktop. Go to Google, search Power BI, download Power BI Desktop. It'll take you to the Microsoft site to where you can download Power BI Desktop. It's totally free. You can download Power BI Desktop and you can start creating Power BI reports on your PC. Now, as of the making of this video or as of this class or this session, you cannot download Power BI to a Mac. It has to be to a PC. Now, you can create Power BI reports in Power BI Service. That's the next component. That's the next main component of Power BI. There's Power BI Desktop where you're creating Power BI reports on your PC, and then there's Power BI Service where you're creating Power BI reports out in the web. Now, Power BI Service is a little bit bigger than that. It's a little bit bigger than that. It's a little bit bigger than just creating Power BI reports. Creating the actual report out on the web is not created on the PC is a lot more robust than creating on the web. But when you create it on the PC, then you can publish it to the web as well. You can create a report on the web, or you can publish it on the web. You can publish it to the web from your PC. And typically when you create a report, at the end of the day, when you finish the report, you're going to publish it to the web. Now, when the report is out on the web, you can make that report a dashboard. You can assign different individuals that have access to it, give them permissions to be able to view it, to be able to make edits or not make edits. All kind of stuff you can do once you get it out there on the web, right? And now I keep that very simple, but I also want to use the term cloud. Basically, that's using Power BI in the cloud. That's publishing it to the cloud. But at the end of the day, the difference between Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service is Power BI Desktop is using Power BI on your PC, and Power BI services using Power BI out on the web. Now, out on the web, that's where all the administrative privileges and permissions and all that stuff take place, but we're not going to go too deep into that because right now, as a developer, we're just talking about developing Power BI reports. Can I use Power BI for free or do I need a license? As I just said, you can use Power BI for free. Power BI is a free application. You download it to your PC and you begin creating Power BI reports. If you got the data sets if you got the data sets, you can bring in the Power BI. You can begin creating Power BI reports. It's totally free. It's called Power BI free, to be honest. Now, there are several different pay tiers. There are several different pay tiers of Power BI. We're not going to go into those tiers, but at the end of the day, I think Power BI, I forgot which one it is. It's the next one from free, but it's actually $9, right? It's $9 a month. You may get to that point, you can get to that point relatively quickly, within a week, a month, you can figure you need, a little bit more to work with, or you can go totally free and not have to worry about that. Yeah, at the end of the day, doing what we do right now, you don't need to buy Power BI desktop or Power BI, period. You can just download it to your PC. The key definitely to participating in the class is having a PC. Power BI services is not what we use in class. Now, let's see here. What kind of data sets do you recommend for beginners to practice with? CSV files. I recommend CSV files. I don't think that you should go too much further in downloading a database and nothing like that. A CSV file. If you got a CSV file, is more than enough to get started learning. In our class that at Power to BI, we do use a database, and we do start out. We start out with CSV files, and then we move into a database. And then we actually combine the two. We use CSV files and the database. But at the end of the day, for very beginners, newbies to the game, I say you should don't start out with more than a CSV file. It could totally confuse you as you're starting if you try to do that for several reasons. What's the difference between Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service? I think I just explained that one, so I don't want to waste your time going through that again. How do I connect Power BI to my own data like Excel or SQL Server? What we use, the magic word in the magic phrase in Power BI is not please, it is get data. It is not please, it is get data. So basically you would just go to get data and you will go to either your Excel file or your SQL Server file, SQL Server table, and you will bring that data in using get data. I don't want to go too deep. If you ask a question like that, if you say, how do I connect Power BI to my data like Excel or SQL Server, you're a little bit further along than just a beginner. And I don't want to confuse anyone else that's sticking around right now that's listening as to what does that really mean. Can Power BI help me get a job in tech or analytics? The answer to that is yes. That's what we do at Power of the BI over at powerofthebi.com. Shameless plug, but that's what we do. We teach you Power BI. And the type of job you will get would be a tech job in analytics, right? You will become a data analyst, a Power BI developer. They're pretty much the same. If you want to go and Google, or not necessarily Google, but go to one of the job boards and see, what's the job description for a Power BI developer, I would say go to whatever your favorite job board is, your favorite tech job board, and place in the title Power BI developer. Place in the description data analyst. they're pretty much one and the same. Those are the jobs that I believe that you would be going for, finishing the course here at Power of the BI, powerofthebi.com, shameless plug, where the salary ranges anywhere from about $85,000 to $120,000 a year, on average about $104,000. Okay, and that's starting out. Let's see, what roles typically use Power BI? And I think that one pretty much goes hand in hand with what we just said here. Can Power BI help me get a tech job in data analytics and in tech or analytics? And we said that a Power BI developer or a data analyst, and that would be the role that you would be looking for when you are applying for a Power BI position. Is Power BI a good skill to have for freelancers or consultants? Absolutely, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. The reason why is because there are many jobs out there right now that are 3-month, 6-month contract jobs, right? Say you don't want to get tied down to a particular company. Say you don't want to get tied down to a particular location. There are contract jobs that are out there. Now, there are not as many contract jobs that are out there now as they used to be. Well, I'm not hearing of as many contract jobs as I did during COVID, but, compared to other professions, it's a lot of work out there contract-wise for freelancers and consultants. Let's see here. How is your online course different from free tutorials on YouTube? So my online course is at Power of the BI, powerofthebi.com. What I do on YouTube, you go to my YouTube channel, Power of the BI, go to the YouTube channel, which you're already here, so I know you know how to get here. I give away a lot of information, right? I don't hold back. I give away a lot of information. As you can see in previous videos, I'm showing you how to create Power BI reports for Fortune 500 companies and Fortune 500 company industries, right? Fortune 500 industries. So, I'm not holding back. I'm giving you the information, right? I'm not in this for the money. I'm not in this for the money. I look at the camera and say, I'm not in this for the money. I'm giving away the information, right? I want you to become successful in Power BI. Now, there are some of you guys that don't need my assistance. There's some of you guys that don't need to be taught. You just want to see, you show me the video, show me how to do it, and I can create this thing. There's some of you that's like, nah, I need a little bit more hands-on approach. So that's where the class comes in. That's where powerofthebi.com comes in. You sign up for the class, and it's a lot more structured, where you have a curriculum, you have projects to complete, reports to complete. We talk about them. You explain what you're doing. I explain why I think it's good or why it's not good, or what changes you may need to make, or the understanding that you need to have as you are creating certain reports. That's straight hands-on. And then I do Power of the BI Live, where it's a live in-person class rather than being, so let me back up. So powerofthebi.com is, it's online, self-paced. We meet once a week, right? And I give you my individual time and attention once a week as you go self-paced to complete a 16-week course online. Then there is the Power of the BI Live, where I go live and I teach, for a weekend. As I said, that's the 1.0. This is the 2.0. But in 1.0 in Power of the BI Live, you've got me for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in person, 8 hours a day. Friday, 8 hours Friday, 8 hours Saturday, 8 hours Sunday. And we pretty much go through the same curriculum. But now, rather than me talking you through it, now I'm talking you through it, and I'm able to stand over your shoulder, and you're able to ask me questions directly. Some people say, hey, I'm not good with the self-paced online piece. I need to see you. I need to be in class. I need to be there with you. And that's where the Power of the BI Live comes in. So that's the major difference. YouTube, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. I'm shooting out the water hose, right? And then in my powerofthebi.com class, online course, 16 weeks, once a week we meet and we're talking, right? And I'm giving you feedback. Power of the BI Live, 3 days, 8 hours a day, we're killing it, right? So, you know, that's the major difference. It's just a matter of what you want. But if you watch my videos, you watch the YouTube videos, and definitely in the series I've got going now where you're learning how to create Power BI reports for Fortune 500 companies. I mean, you already see that thing's a killer, man. That thing's a killer. Do you offer any mentorship or project-based learning in your course? Yeah. Let me read that again. Do you offer any mentorship or project-based learning in your course? My YouTube videos are all project-based. If you have Power BI and you have the data sets that I'm using, you can create the same reports that I'm creating. Now you say, well, how do I create the same reports? How do I get the data set? If you're on the mailing list, you have access to the reports. If you're on the mailing list, you have access to the reports, right? So if you're asking me, how do I get the data sets? That tells me you're not on the mailing list. Follow the link below that's in this description, join the mailing list, and you will have access to the data sets and the reports, okay? As far as mentorship, once a week, I'm mentoring you once a week. If you're in powerofthebi.com online course, if you're in the course, I'm mentoring you once a week, right? And definitely, if you're in the powerofthebi.com online course, you already know that the videos that I have are fire, and that's mentor itself, right? But you will have access to me at least once a week live. Then in the Power of the BI live session, where I do the 3-day session, 8 hours Friday, 8 hours Saturday, 8 hours Sunday, that's individual, well, not individual because it's in a class setting, but that's mentorship right there. That's mentorship right there. Now, if you're asking, do you have anytime access to me? The answer to that is no. I'm just not available, right? I'm just not available at any time, 24 hours a day. But my students know how to reach me. My students know how to reach me inside the portal. I'm responding all the time. I'm not gonna say all day, every day. I'm responding all the time to questions within the portal. I hope that answered the question. Hope that answered the question. Let's see. Got time for a couple of more questions. Do you offer, no, we already tried that, do you offer? Let's see, what's the average salary for a Power BI developer? I think I mentioned this earlier, but the starting salary, the average starting salary for, well, let's back up. Let me back up. The range for a Power BI developer is about $85,000 to $125,000. The average pay, the average pay for a Power BI developer starting out, leaving powerofthebi.com, is somewhere around $104,000 to $110,000. $104,000 is really about it. $104,000, I want to say that maybe like $50 an hour is where it's at. Once you've been in the game and you've gotten hungry and you've learned and you're starting to get good and you've putting your practice in, I'm going to say probably in about a year's time, you know, you're going to be able to go after the $120,000, $140,000 mark, and there are going to be some other opportunities out there for you because you've become so much more knowledgeable about the tech industry. But with that said, the average salary for a Power BI developer is about $104,000. Let's see. How do I build a portfolio if I don't have real world data? So with that said, when you finish powerofthebi.com, the online course, or when you finish Power of the BI Live, you're gonna have about 3 projects under your belt. You're gonna have 3 projects under your belt. They're gonna be digital projects, and you're going to be able to show prospective employers your projects. You're going to be able to walk them through. So you're going to have some real world projects, some real world data to well, yeah, you're gonna have real world data, a real world project to show in your job interview, and not just talk about, you know, who you are and what you know. You're gonna be able to show them what you know. So, you know, you don't even have to worry about that one. This next question is, what is DAX and why is it important? I'm not gonna go deep into DAX, because if I go too deep into DAX, it's gonna spook you off. But what I'll tell you is, you don't have to be spooked by DAX. DAX is a computer language just as Python or Java or SQL or C++. But DAX is the computer language for Power BI. So, you know, do you have to know how to code in order to create a Power BI report? Not really, but you've got to have some idea of DAX. You've got to be not necessarily proficient, but you got to be proficient in knowing about DAX, right? In our course, powertobi.com, we do teach you how to use DAX, right? I'm not trying to be vague, but I don't want to go too deep into DAX, because when you start talking about computer programming and languages and stuff like that, people get spooked off. And I have taught some individuals that have no knowledge of computer languages, computer programming, tech skills, or whatever, and they are pretty good. So I want you to give yourself the benefit of the doubt of being great, as opposed to, oh, this is the reason why I shouldn't be trying to learn this information. But with that said, I'm not gonna go too much further, because if I do, I'm gonna go over the time, and I don't wanna really go over the time limit, because I want you to sign up for this session for next week. For those of you guys that are out there that are not members of the class, or not members of the email distribution list as of yet, follow the link below, and sign up for the email distribution, so that I can keep you informed, keep you notified of the next class, of this next session, which is Power to BI Live 2.0, because I love to have you on asking some questions, as I'm about to talk, or have you on and have some more intimate conversations about Power BI and what are the good, the bad, the pros, the cons of being in this industry, as we are about to have here in the next few minutes or so. But again, follow this link, and follow the link in the description, and sign up for our email distribution list to be notified. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Once again, thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.